Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 6 movies in Phase 1 of the MCU. I've recently, over the last few weeks, reviewed all of the Phase 1 movies, so I thought I'd go ahead and rank them and everything. This is going to be a kind of a re-ranking, although I don't really think that this ranking would have changed. I don't know if I ever did a Phase 1 ranking on here before, but it really isn't going to be much different than it would have been back then, because my thoughts on these movies haven't changed that much, really. But I'm going to go ahead and get going. Coming in at number 6 is The Incredible Hulk. I really am not that big of a fan of this movie. I never really have been. The story just is okay. I've always kind of found the movie to be a little bit boring. The characters are, they're alright, I guess, but they're nothing super special. Most of them have been ignored in the MCU up to this point, although they're slowly starting to acknowledge them again. Part of it's to do with the rights to the movie, and part of it is this is kind of known as the black sheep of the MCU. It's the one everybody kind of ignores because it wasn't a very popular movie, and I can get it. It's not very great. It does have some good action scenes and stuff, though, especially the scene on the college campus. I love that moment, and there were some good little moments with Bruce and Betty, and I hope eventually they do bring Betty back. I think that'd be pretty cool and everything. So, but yeah, all in all, I think The Incredible Hulk is not one of my most favorite movies, so it's number 6. And number 5 is Iron Man 2. I really like Iron Man 2. I don't think it's near as bad as everybody says it is. It has a lot of really good moments, especially like the race car sequence, and a lot of the buddy stuff between Rhodey and Tony is really well written, and the setup for the Avengers is kind of cool and stuff. That whole scene with him meeting with Nick Fury at the donut shop is pretty cool and stuff. So there are some things about this movie I like quite a bit, and also this is one where we're introduced to Black Widow, which was a pretty cool introduction to her. So this is a fun movie. It's not one of the best MCU movies for sure, and it's one of the most hated ones. I think it's a little overhated, because it's not near as bad as some people say it is. It's not near as bad as The Incredible Hulk or some of the other MCU movies that have come out after it, but it's definitely not one of my most favorites either. So Iron Man 2 is number 5, and number 4 is Captain America: The First Avenger. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. It has a really good story. The cast is pretty good in here, and it was a really great introduction to Chris Evans' take on Steve Rogers. I thought he was a really good choice for the character after I saw the movie. I didn't think he was when I first heard it. I was like, this movie is gonna suck really bad, and then I see the movie and see him in it, and I think he did a really great job as Steve Rogers and everything. He's kind of become iconic as the character and everything, and it's the one character that really does suit him really well, and I absolutely love him in this movie. I'm not a huge fan of Chris Evans outside of the MCU, but I love him in it as this character, and he's great in here. The villain is kind of mediocre. Red Skull is one of the better villains of the Phase 1, but he's still a mediocre villain. But Hugo Weaving does a decent enough job playing him, and I love the World War II setting and stuff like that, so it's a really fun movie and everything. So Captain America: The First Avenger is number 4, and number 3 is Thor. I absolutely love the first Thor movie. It's a really fun fish out of water movie, and I love like the feel and stuff of it when they're on Asgard, and like the way the dialogue is written and stuff, when Odin and Loki are having that little moment where they're talking and stuff about about Loki being adopted and stuff. The way it's written is just so well done, and it's really well written and acted, and I think this is a really fun introduction to these characters, especially Loki and everything. Even though this is Thor's movie, Loki just steals the show, and I love the introduction to him and everything, and he kind of steals the show in all 3 movies, really, to be honest with you. He's a lot more entertaining than Thor is, although Thor has gotten to be really entertaining and fun to watch too for me. But especially in this one, Loki was more of a highlight. But this movie is a lot of fun. I love the fish out of water setting. There are things about it that I didn't like the chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman. I just felt like they never had a good chemistry, and they still don't. But the movie itself is really entertaining and makes up for that and everything. So it's number 3. And number 2 is Iron Man, the first one. I absolutely love the first Iron Man movie. It is such a fun movie, and every time I watch it, I always forget how amazing it is. This is the one that really started the MCU and kicked it off and everything, and it just does it so well, and it feels more grounded and stuff than your typical MCU stuff and everything. It was before it really got to being big spectacles and stuff like that. And this feels like a smaller scaled movie, but it is a fun movie, and it features really great performance from Robert Downey Jr., which made him a star all over again, and kind of made him have a little bit of a comeback for a while. And he was amazing in here, and he still is an amazing actor, but I mean, he was great in this movie, and this is definitely one of my favorite performances of him as the character and everything. I think he's great in every time he's played the character. He's always top notch, but I think this might be his best performance as a character, because it just kind of feels like he was born to play the character, and he's just absolutely perfect in here. And this is a really good introduction to the MCU and getting it started and stuff. I love it, and I love the stuff with Jensen at the beginning, with him and Jensen in the cave and stuff, and him telling him not to waste the life that he's been given when he dies saving him and stuff. I love that moment too, and I love Tony's character arc throughout the whole movie, and I just really love this movie. So Iron Man 2 is number 2, and my number 1 favorite MCU movie of Phase 1 is The Avengers. Everything that led up to this movie paid off really well. This was such a great movie, and when this movie first came out, I was like, this movie is either going to be really decent or it's going to suck. I never expected that after seeing this movie I would be so hooked into the MCU that I can't miss a movie or show anymore and everything. I never expected that the MCU would become one of my most favorite franchises after seeing this movie. This is the one that really got me going. I've been a fan of the MCU since it first started, but I didn't really get into it until this movie came out. I loved the Iron Man movies. I liked Thor, and I thought Captain America was pretty good, but when you bring them all together, you just get something really special. And this is one of those movies that changed the way movies are made and stuff. It's gonna go down as a historical movie for that reason too. But this is just a really great movie, and easily my favorite of Phase 1 of the MCU. So anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite MCU movies are from Phase 1. If you want, tell me your full ranking of all 6 of them. If you don't just tell me your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.